For the second time in 10 days, Lou City and Pittsburgh square off in a battle of two of the stingiest defensive units in the USL Championship. With Ricky Lopez-Espin, former MLS and USL star, I'm Michael Watrain. Great to have you with us on a Wednesday evening in Kentucky. Let's take a look at the current standings presented by PowerNet. These two sides starting to pull away from the middle of the pack. Riverhounds enter 2 points off the pace in the Eastern Conference, while Lou City is looking to pull into a three-way tie for the number 2 slot in the Eastern Conference standings. Ricky, this Riverhounds team is in just an absolutely tremendous run of form. They haven't lost in 82 days.
And it starts with confidence for this Riverhounds side, knowing that they've had success at Lynn Family Stadium. So how compact can they be defensively, and how confident can they be on the attacking phase? So the first 10 to 15 minutes are going to be really important for this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side and Bob Lilly.
After missing 4 matches with a broken collarbone, Pittsburgh's top goal scorer, Albert Dikwa, is back. 9 goals this season.
And what a massive insertion to the 11 he is for Bob Lilly. But the question is how quickly can you get him on the ball, get him in a rhythm, and get him confident? You want him to stay high. You want him to occupy the 2 center backs of Lou City. And the service into Dikwa needs to be spot on, because you get him confident in around that 18-yard box, it's going to be a long day for this back line for Lou City.
This is one of the toughest back lines and goalkeepers to go against, and a big part of that is Oliver Semla. He could tie the USL Championship record for clean sheets in a season by a rookie tonight, trying to get to double figures.
And just save after save, you see the quality between the sticks for Lou City, and he just instills a sense of confidence within this back line. But what's so impressive about Semla is the ability with his feet as well to kickstart the attack, to change the point of attack. But again, you talk about confidence, you talk about being motivated to get on the clean sheet. Once again, big challenge for Oliver Semla.
Tonight's player profile is presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. Cameron Lancaster back in the lineup, the former Golden Boot winner in the USL Championship, picked up the game winner against Loudoun.
And confidence is everything. He had a goal last game out, so you know he wants to get on the score sheet once again. But again, you want him on the bar early and often, asking questions, testing the shape of this back line.
On the 3-year anniversary of the opening of Lynn Family Stadium, Pittsburgh is looking for its 5th win. All have been in this facility. Can Lou City snap that string? We'll answer that question when we return.
Since 2018, Commonwealth Credit Union has proudly sponsored the USL Championship. This world-class event is one of only 52 PGA Tour events, and it's all happening right here in Kentucky. Join us July 13th through the 16th at Champions at Keene Trace in Nicholasville. Children 15 and under will get free admission courtesy of Commonwealth Credit Union. Plus, all state employees will get 25% off admission with promo code CCU Golf. We're investing in our community, bettering lives, and making memories along the way. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
And the whole world is wondering, what's it going to take to stop this U.S. team?
Easy, lad. We mark Alex. What about Rose? Or Trinity?
Poor bloody Rapino.
Rapino scores!
We could get younger players.
They already did that.
We have veteran experience.
Listen to what you're saying.
That's world class.
Their flights could get canceled.
Seriously?
We can steal their place.
I got it. We go back in time and stop them from ever playing soccer. It's a great game. You'll love it.
Wait, are you just describing the plot of Terminator?
What's it gonna take to stop this U.S. team?
They're faster, slower.
Play with passion. Je ne sais quoi.
I mean, the entire world is going to do whatever it takes to stop the U.S.
Good luck with that.
When we win,
you win.
We're partnering with Wendy's to celebrate all Lou City and racing wins with a free small Frosty.
No purchase necessary.
simply go to any participating Louisville area Wendy's the day after a win. Show the club's social media posts featuring Wendy's and claim your free small Frosty.
Enjoy this Wendy's treat after every Lou City and racing win.
Sean Tosh being honored prior to the match for his 200th career appearance with Louisville City FC. As he gets this opportunity, he's top 10 all-time in USL Championship history in minutes. Time to take a look at the starting 11s presented by Breeze Airway. And here's what Danny Cruz looks like tonight.
Eyes go to that front line, Lancaster, Mushagalusa, and Serrano. What does that relationship look like? Serrano's going to come into the interior as he sees fit. Lancaster stays high. Mushagalusa, how quickly can he isolate his individual defender? But McCabe and Mogul Jr., they need to have a very good relationship. As two go, one needs to provide that single pivot right in front of that back four.
Both sides have great goal-scoring presence as we take a look at Pittsburgh's starting 11 for this matchup. Luis Zamudio in net with Jamali Waite still at the Gold Cup as well.
You talk about fluidity for Bob Lilly. Blackstock on this left-hand side. Rivera, they're going to join the attack as they see fit. Mertz is going to come underneath Dikwa, and then it's going to be Etsu and Dikwa asking questions, testing the shape of Blue City. You're looking at this Bob Lilly side, starting 11, very talented, and a lot of rotations and fluidity when they're on the ball.
There are 6 matches in the USL Championship this evening. This one as good as it gets. 2 teams that give up amongst the lowest goals in the league this season, meeting for the 20th time. Blue City is unbeaten in the last 5. The last time that Pittsburgh won was the very first match at Lynn Family Stadium 3 years ago to the day. A 3-1 victory. Michael Watrang, Ricky Lopez-Espin, our entire crew ready to roll here from Lynn Family Stadium in the 20th meeting between 2 of the top sides in the championship. Well, these 2 teams just played 10 days ago. That was a 0-0 draw. Obviously, we know the defense is going to be tough. What's going to be the key for these 2 sides to try to find a goal?
I think if you're Danny Cruz, you're at home, right? So the field's going to be a lot bigger. You're more comfortable. You don't have to deal with the travel, natural grass, not like the turf that we see at Highmark. So again, the first 10 to 15 minutes, how quickly can you get on the ball? Changing the point of attack is going to be really important for Lou City and for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. We talked about it, Michael. Confidence that they've had success in this building before. Why can't they do it again? So defensively, keep everything in front of you, but on the ball, express yourself, especially in that final third.
Well, Bob Lilly said that they have to have more of the possession in this game for a team that really likes to sit in deep and defend. He said their biggest challenge in this match will to force Lou City and their forwards to defend. Spend a little more time off the ball. There's a good hustle. Perez gets to it. First time ball in. Does get swept away. Only as far though as Serrano. 17 goals this season for Lou City, second fewest in the league. Which is almost shocking when you look at the names on this roster.
It's always interesting when you look and you think about a Lou City side, you expect them to score a lot of goals and being very compact defensively, and yet 17 goals on the year, sitting in a home playoff match at the moment, 4th in the Eastern Conference. That just tells you the quality. And it was really interesting. We talked to Danny Cruz and he said, look, I have faith in my roster. We're about the same team as last year, the success that we had. So no reason to press the panic button because everyone around the league is probably pressing it for us. But we still have the confidence and we're taking it game by game.
A team that scored nearly 70 goals a year ago, well off of that pace at this point. Is there going to be a game? They explode. Perez hides through 2. Pass behind Serrano. Tonight's weather report presented by Advanced ENT and Allergy. 88 degrees, unseasonably warm here in Kentucky. As the sun begins to set on a Wednesday evening. Well, 2 of Pittsburgh's wins were at Slugger, or check that, 3 of Pittsburgh's wins were at Slugger Field. 1 at Lynn Family Stadium. Foul whistled against Andy Rivera.
It's interesting, Michael, as the Riverhounds set up with 2 wingbacks, that's going to put a lot of emphasis and challenges on Mushagalusa and Serrano to drop back and do the defensive duties. They want to create overloads on wide areas and ask questions of Perez and Dia. So again, the players in front of them for Lou City have to have the ability. When the ball gets by, your job is not done to do the dirty work in the game.
Both coaches emphasize the fact that these clubs just saw each other 10 days ago, but expected that this match would look Much different than that first meeting. Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in the communities they serve since 1951. To learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Both of these sides have had to deal with injuries, but not just that, also a busy schedule with Pittsburgh's US Open Cup run and Lou City with a couple international friendlies, one coming up on Saturday against Atlante. So because of that, we really haven't seen a lot of consistency within the group over the last couple months.
And yes, it's physically demanding for players, but also for managers to understand right buttons to push. Players need to have the rest and put their legs up, but also when they need to get a run out. So that's something that goes very underestimated throughout the season, just the amount of stress and just thoughtfulness in terms of lineups for both of these managers, and none better than Bob Lilly and Danny Cruz, two of the best managers that we've had in the USL Championship. So, you know, yes, there's a lot of talent on the field, but also there's going to be a massive challenge in a matchup on the sidelines as well.
Perez latches onto it. Again, his pass errant, looking for Serrano. Both sides struggling with some of the shorter passes here in the first 5 minutes.
I think if you're the Riverhounds, how quickly can you turn your defense into offense? Lou City, they want to play expansive. They want to commit a lot of numbers forward, especially on wide areas. So if you force a turnover, they're going to be extremely vulnerable going back the other way. So how can you connect that first pass? It's going to be really important for the success of the visitors here.
Pittsburgh has been excellent on the road this year, getting points in 7 of the 9 road trips, with just 2 wins. Bob Lilly admitting that they haven't been great on the road, but have been good. There's a whipping cross in. Zamudio controls easily. What a change it has been for Zamudio. Last year was giving up nearly 2 goals per game with Loudoun United, and since being acquired on loan on June 15th, he has 3 clean sheets and has given up just 1 goal. Well, one of these two sides has some goal scoring explosions in this match. Teams that entering have given up a combined 25 goals this season. Could perhaps be foreshadowing of a Eastern Conference semifinal or final matchup. Ordonez wins the header out. Lou City looked to be the more attacking at the start. Other side with a shot attempt through the first 7.5.
Just see how compact the Riverhounds are sitting in their defensive shape. So if you're Lou City and Danny Cruz, how quickly can you move the ball from left to right to open up gaps? And as those gaps open up, that's when you penetrate. Moments just like this, create overloads, pull center backs out of positions, and there needs to be a secondary movement. So if Serrano breaks that line, what does Lancaster move? Whether it's a feet, whether it's spinning in behind, those little movements are so important for the success to break down this mid to low block.
That's what Pittsburgh does so well. Take it away in the midfield. Matikwa up top, 1 goal off the Golden Boot race. Here he is with the touch. He can be so dangerous in transition. Griffin, Pittsburgh's first foray into the attacking third. Blackstock Sends this one out and a goal kick coming.
That's exactly what I talked about. Serrano, like with this wingback Blackstock, doesn't go down, moves his feet extremely well and forces an errant cross. So you're Mushagalusa, you're Serrano, already 9 minutes in defensively, you've been spot on.
Some high pressure here from Pittsburgh. That's something you typically see out of this Riverhounds group. Ball sent forward from Mushagalusa, but it's beyond his reach and out. This is a Louisville team. When you look at the roster up and down, you have so much great scoring prowess. Brian Ownby, nearly 50 goals. Cameron Lancaster, third all-time in USL history in terms of goal scoring. Mushagalusa had 10 goals a season ago, but they just haven't been able to get firing. Kind of like an Indy 11 that you look at. Resume's terrific. Goal scoring this season, not so much. And Danny Cruz mentioned it about the Loudoun United game. There were 2 opportunities early in that game that they should score 10 out of 10 times and failed to do so both times. And it's been a theme for much of this year.
It's just simple enough. Is need to be a bit more efficient in that final third. How clean can you be when you get in around that 18-yard box? And it's the hardest thing to do in football, put the ball in the back of the net. But you talk about the success that most of these players in this Lou City roster have had. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they start to get on a roll. And that's something that Danny Cruz, going back to our earlier conversation, that he understands and he trusts his team. That once Lancaster gets on the end of it, Mushagalusa gets on the end of it, Brian Ownby starts producing goals and assists, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with going back the other way. And that's something that Bob Lilly also knows as well. And he says, just hope that they don't get on an attacking phase on our watch here tonight.
You look at this Lou City group, 11 goals coming in a couple different matches. Otherwise, allowed that is. And otherwise, they've given up about a half a goal per match outside of those big matchups. And the question becomes, if they can start scoring a little bit more frequently, what does that do for the Eastern Conference table? Entering tonight, sitting in 4th place.
I think 12 minutes in, you're Danny Cruz, you're going to be a bit frustrated with the lack of ball retention in terms of connecting passes, especially in your center channel. Too many times it's route 1 around the corner, try to play Serrano or Mushagalusa. Riverhounds set up so far so good and making life very difficult for the home side.
Something that Pittsburgh has done a lot of late. They've given up just 6 goals during their 11-match unbeaten string. Bodies collide, no foul whistle. Lancaster tried to fall down with Hogan on his backside. There's Danny Cruz. Trying to get healthy. Every time they start to take a step forward in terms of health, somebody else gets a little knock. He's had to change his rotation significantly week over week. This bending ball in, Serrano the closest to it. Blackstock clears. 2 carries. Sequo went down. Sharpie on his hip, no whistle. And again, unable to connect Manny Perez and Ray Serrano. Here's Danny Griffin, tonight his 100th career appearance with Pittsburgh, the 15th player to do so in the Riverhounds history.
Such a massive player for the success, not offensively, but defensively for Bob Lilly, the Iron Man that they call him. The old saying that we hear all the time, it's a great ball.
Serrano. Long distance shot attempt. Handled easily by the back line.
CEO saying that we talk about Danny Griffin, the best ability is availability, and he's been just that for the Riverhounds. Going back to that little opportunity for Lou City, but those are the pockets that you want Ray Serrano to pick up in between lines. So as he comes into the interior, he puts a lot of pressure on a Hogan and a Blacksock because one of them needs to drop off, and as they drop off, there's a gap going back the other way.
This time Serrano had it for just a moment. McCabe flies it in. He's an open header, but put on frame by Lancaster. And our first real chance in the box between either of these teams through the first quarter hour.
As Perez pushes wide, McCabe continues his run from a deep line position, and Lancaster's just so good at playing off the shoulder. As Osumanu is getting caught a bit higher, just drifts right in behind, right between there and Ordonez just gets a header off. He's been very good in terms of his movement, playing off his opposing center back's shoulder, always asking questions. So getting him more in those half pockets for Danny Cruz is going to be crucial to find that opening goal.
We're just over 15 minutes into this one. New City and Pittsburgh, both teams riding extended scoreless droughts defensively. With Ricky Lopez Espin, I'm Michael Watrang here with you. Fans, when Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City has partnered with Wendy's to give you a free small Frosty. If the boys in purple win, no purchase necessary. The offer is valid in the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville City area Wendy's location to redeem. Here's a cross whipped in, and Semla not asked to do a heck of a whole lot there. Lou City has given up just 5 shots on goal total in the last 4 matches.
It's interesting, the Riverhounds are pressing high, so if you can break this initial pressure for Lou City, there's going to be real estate in between lines. Could you take out 4 of those players and leave 3 of your side high? How quickly can Elijah Winder drop down and provide that support system to break through those lines? So far, 17 minutes in, having a very difficult time dealing with this pressure, surprisingly, from Bob Lilly's side.
We knew this might be a defensive battle. Our first shot didn't come until the 15th minute. Julio will pick it up. As an attacking player, how frustrating are matches like these?
Yeah, you wouldn't get on the ball, so very frustrating, essentially. But again, it's a turn if you're disciplined, if you're Cameron Lancaster, Mushagalusa, and Serrano. Because 18 minutes in, haven't really seen much of the ball, so you, by tendencies, you want to drop down and get on your touches and get in a rhythm, but that just congests the center part of the field. Watch out here.
Rovira. Griffin finds a nice little pocket. Both of these teams do, even when it looks like there's a glimmer of light. Retreating is sometimes the only option.
Going back to that point, yes, as an attacking player, you just need to stay high. just to open up gaps for other players to operate in, as we see Deco get caught offside. Because both of these sides, they want to keep everything in front of you. So if you just drop into that middle channel, so much traffic, stay high, maybe spin in, get in behind. Because if you have this little run like Deco now, Tosh and Sharpie understand that there is a threat behind. So I need to drop off when a player picks up his head. And as they drop off, what's the secondary action look like for Danny Griffin to come underneath Deco? And that's how those gaps open up. So far, we haven't seen it enough for either side.
Two of the better teams in the league historically have played to 0-0 draws in 2 of the last 3 meetings. Perez carries. He gets taken down, and a whistle and a foul. And here comes Lou City with the first prime-time set-piece chance.
Just misreads the flight of the ball. Blackstock here, a bit overzealous, but give credit to Manny Perez. Doesn't need a second invitation to join the attack. As he comes in centrally, he feels a contact. Not enough. Goes down and makes the most of it. But now it's a very dangerous set piece for the home side. They have a plethora of options with the quality of Mogul Jr. and McCabe on this.
Fans rise. Here comes a free kick from Lou City. McCabe. Second ball through and out wide.
It's so important when you have a free kick 30 yards in. You have to beat that initial pressure, that initial player. Try to get up and over. If you're now, McCabe just gets it all wrong. Also, second glance at it, you have the opportunity to squeak that into Zamudio's near post. When things aren't clicking in the attacking phase during the fluidity of the game, set pieces are so important to kickstart your attack.
Bob Lilly said that when you play Lou City as a foul whistled, you have to show them that you can be dangerous with the ball. Otherwise, the game's very easy for them defensively. And so far, Pittsburgh haven't seen a lot of the ball, just 42%. Haven't taken a shot so far either.
Most of the times they get on the ball, it's wide areas, whether it's Blackstock, whether it's Rivera. And they got into the final third twice, but again, it's been sloppy in terms of that last final action. This is better. Just get the possession, get the confidence within the side, and try to take out the sting out of this home faithful here at Lynn Family Stadium.
And what Pittsburgh's been good at, all 4 of their wins in this series through the first 19 matches have come in Louisville. Right idea, but Hogan the first man to it. Zamudio lucky that that ball snuck through. Here comes Etu. Etu will take a defender on. Send it in, headed away. Blackstock right at Semla. He does his job to push it away.
Your first look needs to be forward when you force a turnover. Great ball in from Ibarra, as Etu has one thing on his mind. Put this in a dangerous situation, ask questions of this back line of Blue City. The ball pops out. What a terrific strike this is from Blackstock. Head down, laces through that ball. Fortunate enough for Zelma, straight at him. Big time save. Again, you're talking about trying to catch this Blue City side in transition moments. First look forward, you put them on their heels, and now you have a very dangerous corner kick here.
Danny Cruz has emphasized set pieces in the last 10 to 12 days defensively. Admits that Pittsburgh is great on these. And here comes the corner flying in towards the back post. Semla just got a swipe at it. And a foul given as well.
And just confident goalkeeping. We talked about him in the open, Michael, how good he's been between the sticks for Lou City. As this ball comes in, he knows he's taking the contact, punches it up and away. Confident through and through. from the home goalkeeper.
Danny Cruz complimented goalkeeper coach Scott Budnick, doing a great job bringing him along. Knew that Semla could play a key role. Coming out of Marshall, native of Germany. '24th minute. Goal-scoring chances will be few and far between. The only team that concedes fewer goals than either of these sides this season is Sacramento. What a stretch this is for Pittsburgh when you look at it. You know, with this run really dating back since the start of June, where it has been against some of the league's best consistently. That comeback win against San Diego at the end of June. Rosamanu scored in stoppage time to complete the comeback. Lou City, Sacramento, back-to-back matches, back on the road here to Louisville in that stretch. They continue to pass every single test. Team that started 2-2-3 and have since won 6 of the last 11. Haven't dropped points in any of those. There's Osamanu sending it out. Neither of these sides score in the opening half. Neither team has been not strong in terms of goal scoring in the opening 45.
Just too predictable at the moment for Lou City. Too many times it's just route one into Mushakalusa, into Serrano. And that gives Osumanu or Ordonez to step off their line and win their individual battles. The best success that we've seen from the home side is just playing quick between lines, whether it's Serrano popping in, Elijah Winder needs to get more involved. If you're Danny Cruz, that's going to give you the best success, because you just see how deep the Riverhounds are sitting. That's Albert Deep that draws that foul, and he's about 40 yards away from your goal. That just tells you how compact the visitors are. Needs to be quick ball movement, a lot of movement in between lines for the home side as we take a look at this foul. It's a harsh one. Hongo just gets it all wrong. Equal makes the most of it in the secondary action as well.
He wanted the initial foul and eventually got the second one. Such a great start to the season by Dikwa. 9 goals by May 15th. It was the second most in USL Championship history to that date, but he has not scored since May 13th. Now, granted, he missed time with that broken collarbone. Pittsburgh has been picked up by Tolo Shawunmi and others in that absence, but they'd like to get Dikwa going again. After such a great start to the season, still just one behind the league pace. New City wanted the foul. There was no whistle. Griffin carries forward. Down goes Dikwa, and a foul whistled. Or check that. Flag is up for offside.
A bit eager in his run to there, gets caught about a yard offside, but again just talks about the fluidity for the Riverhounds on that front line as Dikwa peels out wide to understand we play centrally. So a bit too eager. That timing is just a bit slower. He's in on goal, but you talk about you getting Robbie Mertz, you get Danny Griffin on the ball between lines, quick ball movement, always have the vision with the willing runners on that front line. Just a bit of a warning sign how quickly they can get on the break.
It's a Lou City, or a Pittsburgh team rather, that have been shut out 6 times this year. 0-0 the tally. These two teams facing off the second time in 10 days. That one also featured a 0-0 draw back on July 1st. And so far in this one, we've seen 4 total shots, only one of which has been on target. Lancaster was in for a moment. Wander couldn't slide it through, and Zamudio just sends it out.
You need to get him on the ball a bit more if you're Danny Cruz. He has a withdrawn number 9 underneath Cameron Lancaster, so second balls are going to be extremely important, because if he can win that battle, to break through, pick apart this back line for the Riverhounds, but he's been extremely quiet 30 minutes in.
Gets to the header first. Osamanu hit it all that well, but fortunately it goes to Griffin. As we hit the half-hour mark of this match, Lou City and Pittsburgh 0-0. Both teams coming in with multiple games of clean sheets. Carrying this matchup, Michael Watrang, Ricky Lopez-Espin, our entire crew. Delighted to have you with us on a Wednesday evening in the USL Championship. Two of the top teams in the league. Welcome to the fans watching this game on WBKI, the official broadcast home for Louisville City FC. Serrano sent it in. Lancaster just doesn't get enough on it. He had some pressure on the backside, but that was a terrific opening touch.
The best passage of play here for Lou City. As Serrano peels out, again, it's off the movement, off the shoulder of Hogan. He gets drawn out. Lancaster does so well to collect this first touch. A magician, but just so unlucky as he's so focused on Ordonez, doesn't get enough clean contact on the ball. If you're the 3 center backs for the Riverhounds, you have to be cognizant of where Cameron Lancaster is at every single time. Too many times, Osumano's getting pulled out, Hogan's getting caught ball watching. It's fortunate enough for Lancaster, doesn't get it cleanly enough as he would like. Probably the best passage of play that we've seen from Lou City.
Lancaster, one of 2 players in league history with multiple 20-goal seasons after having 21 last year. 33rd minute. Chances have been few and far between, but when they have been there, they've given your heart rate some increase in palpitations.
As a number 9, you always want to be focused on your opposing center back, but the ball's the most important part. I think he's just overly focused on Ordonez, trying to shield him off, sends him off balance. If you just make a play on that ball and you just smash it on target, it's 1-0. Talk about that first touch. Just top class from Cameron Lancaster. That's what's so important and so impressive about him in between the 18-yard box. The ability to create his own space, have that first touch, because that's so important for a number 9. You don't get that time and space in between the 18-yard box to pick up your head. It has to be so instinctual. That's something that we've seen from Cameron Lancaster over the years.
Offside again for Dikwa. He was coming back from an offside position initially anyway. Well, if there is one time to get Pittsburgh and the team that has allowed the second fewest goals in the championship this year, it's around this window. They've given up a third of the goals that they've conceded this season in the final 10 minutes of the opening half. Pittsburgh have been selective with their pressure. Probably said against Sacramento, that 0-0 draw. A team that's played the back-to-back 0-0 finishes. And we're not quality enough in transition when they force turnovers. They forced one here. How do they respond? Impatient pass from Rivera. For the Riverhounds to get it back. Etsu. It's a good touch. He wanted a foul and didn't get the whistle from Greg Popka.
Just looking for the contact there, Etsu. But again, if you can change your point of attack, through with Danny Griffin or Ibarra, the center of the park for the Riverhounds, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Dia and Perez, because as you have wingbacks too, they need to make a decision. Do they stay centrally and compact with their back four, or do they go out? And if they go out to isolate that wingback, they need to make sure that they're winning that battle. Maybe Perez gets caught out. Etsu just goes down a bit too easily.
Matches currently going on in the championship. Indy has the 1-0 lead on Charleston. Goal from Aiden Quinn on another penalty in the 61st minute. Here's Blackstock. Semla punches it into a dangerous spot. Pittsburgh's next opponent, Detroit, 0-0 against Loudoun. Dangerous save on that last pass by Semla, pushed it right to the penalty spot. That play mishandled. Here comes the break now from the Riverhounds. Etsu joining the party. He gets the pass. Junior Etsu! How about Semla? A first save and a second. Terrific keeping by the 25-year-old to keep this scoreless.
Robbie Mertz has came alive in this latter part of the first half, just wins his individual battle, and then it's all about the willingness to get on the end of things. As Etsu makes this run, if you're Manny Perez, you need to close down that angle. You can't go vertical. You need to close down this run from Etsu. But you talk about Semla, not once, but twice, makes himself extremely big and closes down the angle. Massive performance for the goalkeeper for Lou City.
That's a big reason why he leads the league in terms of clean sheets, second in goals against average. Had to come up with stops there, otherwise the Riverhounds had a chance to take the lead. Two really good chances. Etsu was wide open at the penalty spot. Not done yet, however. A corner kick coming. Into the box, Semla right-hand swipe. Ball is mishit, and Rivera fouls.
We talked about that extra effort, Michael. Just look at to the bottom of your screen, just gets on his bike. But if you're Manny Perez, you cannot drive vertically. You need to get closer to him. Fortunate enough for you, he takes that long touch, and that gives Semla the ability to close down the space and come off his line extremely quick. We talk about the willingness, that extra effort that puts you apart from the pack. Just top class there from Etsu, but that first touch just lets him down in and around that 18-yard box.
That's exactly what Bob Lilly wanted. Better in transitional moments. For a moment there, it looked like Pittsburgh was going to take a 1-0 lead. Lou City dodges that moment.
Start to see Robbie Mertz getting on the ball a bit more and having more joy and success, picking up his head. Again, it just comes with changing the point of attack. The weak side for this Riverhounds side is so important in terms of their success, because it's always so difficult to market, because so many people are just caught up on the ball, lose track of their man. Uretu understands that and advances himself in that final third for the best opportunity for this Riverhounds side.
Every shot that Pittsburgh have taken so far has been on frame. Let's see how Lou City responds. Mushagalusa bumped off of it, and a goal kick.
Really good individual defending there from Ordonez. Mushagalusa running head down, downhill, head full of steam. Does not leave his feet, stays like for like with the tricky winger. So many times you see defenders leave their feet at this point in time. That's when they get in trouble. No touch there, goal kick, defending 101.
Final 5 minutes of the opening half. And what has turned out to be what you would have expected, a defensive battle between these sides. Granted, there have been a few chances inside of the 18-yard box to highlight. Lancaster hasn't been able to put either of his attempts on frame. Blackstock has taken a good couple passes in the transitional moment a few moments ago from the Riverhounds. Forced Semla to step up and match his season high with 4 saves in this first half. Perez was hoping that ball would take a odd bounce. Handled easily though. Vera.
Good ball.
Mertz. Plenty of options here. Ibarra. Etsu. Circles. Semla comes out, controls that easily. Mushagalusa. Go long here. Serrano. Lancaster goes down in the box. There is no penalty whistled. Danny Cruz pleads his case.
Time after time, this back three for the Riverhounds are getting caught out as Hogan just hanging around on the back end. I'll tell you what, comes across. There's a lot of the body there from Cameron Lancaster. I think Lou City have an argument to be made. Here, Hogan, you need to go with your right foot. That closes down the angle as you go across your body. Very difficult. Lancaster puts his body between you and the ball. On Danny Cruz's side there, I think there should be a point to the spot. It just comes with the movement from Mushagalusa. He comes into the interior. That pulls out Ordonez and leaves this back 3-4. Riverhounds extremely vulnerable. Great recognition from Ray Serrano. The extra pass. And that man is extremely lucky not to concede a penalty.
Lancaster hasn't had his name called all that frequently, but when he has, there have been reverberations around this facility. He's been in great goal-scoring positions. Two of the best in the USL Championship. Played to a 0-0 draw. Neither side has scored in the meetings this year. 11 days apart. Perez. Hit in the face by Rivera. And a foul is given, and that'll set up a set piece.
His extension of the arm there from Rivera. Not once, but twice there. Catches Manny Perez on the end of it. Nice little battle between these two young men on this near side. Not once. Right there, just catches the face of Manny Perez. And now for Lou City, very dangerous set piece. How shaky in back three for the Riverhounds has been. So you're asking just quality to beat that initial defender and whip this ball and cause chaos between Zamudio and his back line. He's been so active, Manny Perez, on this near side, picking his choosing. When defined, enjoying that final third is so important for an outside back, and he's gotten every decision right.
So close in this match. Moments have been fractional from differences. The shots from Pittsburgh. And that last decision by Greg Dopka to not whistle the penalty. Everything is magnified in a match like this. No official sign of stoppage time at this point. Well beyond the 45-minute mark, and Lou City getting ready to spot this ball. It's a fifth third free kick here for Lou City. McCabe, Mogul on top of it. Fans raise their cheers. Hope that they can go to another octave after this one. McCabe strikes. Zamudio controls easily. That ball hung in the air so long. It was an easy choice for the keeper.
And just too much air underneath it. Makes a decision for Zamudio. Straightforward just to come off his line. Easily catch this ball. Secondary action if for McCabe. You're looking for quality. Just put it with enough whip to cause chaos in that second bit of indecision. But if you're Lou City, you start to grow through. Finding Serrano come into the whole Mushikalusa had the most success on that system of play, but for the Riverhounds, changing the point of attack, get Robbie Mertz on the ball a bit more. Kenny Griffin, again, they're doing so well, breaking lines and picking apart this back line for Lou City. It's going to be very interesting the next 45 minutes and the tactical changes from these managers.
Each of the 4 shots from the Riverhounds were on target. None of the 4 from Lou City were on frame. And we've played 45 minutes here at Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville. No score between 2 of the top teams in the East. Step out for a break. Stick with us. More to come.
Since 2018, Commonwealth Credit Union has proudly sponsored the Barbasol Championship. This world-class event is one of only 52 PGA Tour events, and it's all happening right here in Kentucky. Join us July 13th through the 16th at Champions at Keene Trace in Nicholasville. Children 15 and under will get free admission courtesy of Commonwealth Credit Union. Plus, all state employees will get 25% off admission with promo code CCU Golf. We're investing in our community, bettering lives, and making memories along the way. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
So this is a message for everybody. This is your time to listen. Don't speak, just listen. Pay attention.
You heard her. Listen up. There's a big change. Judge Judy is now on at 3 o'clock on WDRB.
See, you didn't even have to say anything. Aren't you happy?
Yes. Watch WDRB mornings and don't miss out on top stories.
We will make sure you are informed and in the know.
So wake up with WDRB for local news, weather, and traffic all morning long.
Don't get stuck in traffic.
I'll show you traffic alerts and the quickest commute routes to make sure you get to work on time.
And don't get caught in the rain because you weren't prepared.
I'll give you the weekly forecast and make sure you're ready for any severe weather threats all morning from 5 to 10.
WDRB and WBKI are the broadcast home for Lou City FC Live. Tonight's game was presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently.
We're at halftime on a sunny evening here in Louisville. Halftime presented to you by Breeze Airways. Nice, new, and nonstop. That's the Breezeway. Michael and Ricky taking you through our halftime report on a Wednesday evening here in Kentucky. The 3-year anniversary of the very first game ever at Lynn Family Stadium. And on that day, Lou City took an early lead in the 18th minute from Speedy Williams' rocket.
And we're going to see some familiar names. What a terrific goal that was for Speedy Williams. Dover, Mertz, Velarde, all on the end of things for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And that's something that Bob Lilly mentioned to us, saying, look, we came in here day one. We took all 3 points. Why can't we do it again here in 2023?
That finished a 3-1 match as Pittsburgh scored 3 times in a 6-minute stretch. This season, much of the same. You look at these two sides, extremely similar overall, although I think both coaches would admit right now they'd like to see a little bit more goal-scoring presence.
And I think you talk about the defensive side, 8 clean sheets and 9 clean sheets. That's really tough to break down for both of these head coaches, for Danny Cruz and Bob Lilly, and they understand that, quote-unquote, saying defense wins championships. You talk about how compacted they've been, keeping everything in front of you. And again, we talk about the talent on display on the roster for both of these sides on the attacking phase. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when they start finding the back of the net, because they will, it's going to be really interesting as how the season plays out.
Pittsburgh's been in an absolutely tremendous run of form with an 11-match unbeaten string. And Ricky, the keys to the second half of the season for this Pittsburgh group. You take a look at where this team is at right now. What are your keys to what Pittsburgh needs to do down the stretch?
And I think for the Riverhounds, you talk about Bob Lilly, 9 games on the road. They've only lost twice, so they're very comfortable suffering together. It's so difficult, not only this USL Championship, but leagues across the world, to pick up points on the road. And that's something that Bob Lilly's side, and he's very proud about. He talked about it on our phone call, saying, look, we've only lost twice, five ties, 2 wins. So that's going to be really interesting for the Riverhounds.
Louisville on the other side needs a little bit more consistency, not just in the performances, but also in terms of their health.
And I do think health, performances, and also substitutions. You talk about Danny Cruz saying, look, players that have came in, they really haven't given us the boost that we've expected, whether it's quality, whether it's energy, but also how do you put a minute 1 to minute 90 full-on performance? Because the quality is there, but how can they execute? That's going to be a key for the second half of the season.
Well, it's nip and tuck right now, not just in the season standings, but in this matchup. 0-0 is the tally at halftime between Lou City and Pittsburgh. When we come back, we'll take a look around the rest of the USL Championship.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Slide this in behind. Now it comes for Valesky. Tries to leave it there for Gleedall. Sam Gleedall. It's a tap in for Christian Valesky. And Monterey Bay are absolutely flying tonight. Bomasoso. Right through the middle. Johnny Rodriguez. Rodriguez scores! Something out of nothing for the Oakland Roots. Halftime in Louisville. Neither side has scored thus far. A defensive matchup between two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. Time to take a look at the news and notes from around the USL. And if you love brackets, Bracket Challenge, predict the outcome of the Women's World Cup. To win prizes, go to uslsuperleague.com/bracket. Announced today, USL in Arkansas, bringing men's and women's professional soccer clubs for the region's first. And coming up in 3 days, Mike Watts, Devin Kerr will be on the air at 10 o'clock Eastern time for more USL on ESPN2 action, Monterey Bay and Oakland Roots SC. And more USL going on this evening. We take a look. Aiden Quinn had that PK goal for Indy 11. Charleston has answered back. Tristan Traeger, a 77th minute goal. 1-1. That game is in stoppage time right now. Detroit and Loudoun have just pulled level. Dario Suarez, a 59th minute goal, but a red card given to Tommy Williamson has Loudoun then down to 10 men after Zach Ryan knotted the score in the 66th minute. 3 more games as well to come up later on this evening. This weekend, looking ahead to the USL Championship slate. It all starts on Friday. A good one. Colorado Springs and San Diego to start things off. We mentioned Pittsburgh. They get to host Detroit City on Saturday. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Charleston will try to keep pace with the top of the league as well, traveling to Miami. And, of course, as we highlighted, that ESPN2 matchup at 10 Eastern, Monterey Bay playing host to Oakland Roots. Here at the break, we're still scoreless between Lou City and Pittsburgh. Do we have a second half goal in us? We'll find out when we come back. First half highlights, stats, and the second half kickoff coming your way next.
Did you know taking care of your teeth and gums helps control blood sugar levels? A healthy smile means a healthier you. We can help you get there. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com. Did you know taking care of your teeth and gums helps lower your risk of heart attack? A healthy smile means a healthier you. We can help you get there. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
I'll bring out the cowboy hats for this one. Basically in the South here in Louisville, 0-0 your score here at halftime between Lou City and Pittsburgh Riverhounds here this evening. Time to take a look at the first half highlights out of this matchup. Pittsburgh far more accurate in their goal scoring chances, but here's a chance for Cameron Lancaster. This is our first shot attempt of the game.
Just look at this back line for the Riverhounds as Osumanu just gets caught ball watching. Lancaster understands that. Let me just slip right in behind him, but just mistimes his jump up and over. Such a difficult technique to perfect, but you're going to see more of Cameron Lancaster back the other way.
8 minutes later, this was the hardest hit ball of the game. Unfortunately for Pittsburgh, it was right at Oliver Zembla.
But it just comes off of pushing the issue. You force a turnover against this Lou City side. They're going to be vulnerable going back the other way. So first look is forward. Etsu does extremely well just to whip it into a dangerous area. Just hit it so well. Blacksock, straightforward save from Zembla. He's been massive tonight.
In the 38th minute, once again, it was Blackstock. Or no, check that. It was actually Junior Etsu and Mark Ibarra. Look at this run. This was the best chance of the half.
And it just starts from 60 yards in between his own half to understand there's going to be real estate. If I just get on my bike, when you have Robbie Mertz, the timing, the patience, there's information on this pass. That first touch just lets him down, but not once, but twice from Zembla. Once again, massive in between the sticks for Lou City, and this is a little bit of a controversy here. As this ball comes across, race around with that extra pass. Hogan presses the immediate button, emergency, comes across to Cameron Lancaster. He goes down, expecting a penalty. If I was a referee, I'd give it. I'm not a referee. He comes down with the right leg, probably a better angle. But I think Patrick Hogan gets away with one. You can see the disbelief on Danny Cruz's face.
So that's where we stand right now. After 45 minutes, let's take a look at the stats from the first 45. Brought to you by Pave Masters. Despite seeing less of the ball for Pittsburgh, they've arguably had the better chances.
Yeah, just been more efficient in that final third, a bit more threatening, changing the point of attack with the willing runs from wide areas has been top class from Bob Lilly. But yes, you can do very well getting yourself into that final third. But what do you do when you're in that final third? That's going to be the question for the Riverhounds and for Lou City. Just continue to keep playing between lines as Raven Serrano comes into the interior, Mushagalusa comes into the interior. You need someone stretching this back line for the Riverhounds, and that needs to be Cameron Lancaster. You need to get him more service. Him and Elijah Weinder need to get on the ball just a tiny bit more, so it's going to be interesting this next 45.
Danny Cruz has challenged his team to find ways to be better in the attacking third of the field. As it stands right now, no shots on target. Both sides, as good as they've been defensively, struggled offensively rather, as you take a look at the start of this second half. Do we get a winner in this one? Or for the second time in 11 days, do we walk out of here with each team getting a point apiece? No subs at the half for either side. And as we get ready for the second half, is 3 points more important for either of these two sides, or do you think both teams would be content perhaps with walking out of here with a share of the point total?
If you're Danny Cruz, you're at home. You need all 3 points. You talked about your last time out, you beat Loudon, but how do you build on that performance? How do you turn 3 points into 6 points, especially here at Lynn Family Stadium? So I think if you're Danny Cruz, you're going to want to get on the front foot in the second half and ask more questions to Bob Lilly. You know how difficult it is to pick up points on the road. If you can stay compact defensively, you can walk back home to Pittsburgh with 1 point, you're going to be very happy.
Lou City has only won back-to-back matches twice this season. They've never won 3 in a row. And despite being unbeaten in their last 4, just 2 wins in that stretch. Dia is taking this throw, and it's going to be a long one. A pretty good amount on it. Mushagalusa. Dia. Mushagalusa. And a corner coming up for the first time tonight for Lou City. It's a Wi-Fi corner for the home group. McCabe had been out since March 25th before returning to action in the international friendly against FC Kaiserslautern. Only player that's been with the club since the inception. Helps this boomerang in, near post! Ricocheted in and just wide.
One of the hardest things to defend is this near post run. Elijah Reinder just so well to get across his individual mark. Tell you what, does not miss by much. If that's 2 feet to the left, that's in the back of the net. Lou City dream start to the second half, but does so well, understands I don't need to hit it hard. I just need to redirect it into that far post. It's a player that you need to get on the ball a bit more. I keep talking about Danny Cruz, but he can be so special, especially in that final third.
Here's Mushagalusa. Send Lancaster into space. The City has come out with a little bit more determination to try to get a goal. We're at less than a half in terms of expected goals at this point. Two excellent defensive sides. Heard from Albert Decoy in quite a while. Mertz on the ground, wanted a foul. Greg Knopka does not oblige. Etsu can't get there first. Tosh sends it out. Yellow jerseys around Mushagalusa. He gives it away. Ibarra really nowhere to go, though. Galloping forward, Perez, and a foul, and a card as well. Danny Griffin picks up the first booking for either side.
When you have an outside back that has the ability to turn his defense into offense, that's such a luxury to have. Not one, not two, but three Riverhounds players that Manny Perez just glides by. Transition moment. Danny Griffin knows exactly what he's doing. So now it's a big challenge for the young man in terms of his discipline, his positioning to decide what challenges he needs to go into.
Yellow card brought to you by World of Beer. Comes a third free kick.
Again, Michael, you just see the lack of movement on the front line for Lou City. You ask this Back three for the Riverhounds, Osumanu, Hogan, Ordonez, everything has been in front of them, especially through the run of play. So that's been so easy. Too many times, just step into the middle third, and you move from left to right. You ask any center back, that's an easy day at the office. So you want someone just to run into the channels to pull out a center back. Because when they've done that, they've had the success, Lou City, to break down this defensive unit of Bob Little's side, which is not enough for Danny Cruz's liking. Point proving, you see the lack of options.
Mertz. Will finally find some space. Takes Tosh 1v1, plays it back. Mertz off the woodwork.
But what a fantastic play this is for the Riverhounds. The movement from Alberdico as he comes in, he knows Sharpie is up his backside. Let me just spin him like a top, and there's information on this pass into Robbie Mertz. As he just rolls this into the path of Mertz, says you need to hit this first time. Hits it so well, closes his hips at the last second, just so unfortunate. It's off that far post. You talk about playing out of the back for the Riverhounds, that's top class.
Pittsburgh has been dynamic in their shooting despite less possession. 4 shots on target, 1 off of a post. Griffin goes out wide. Now it's Pittsburgh's turn to attack. Blackstock. Great passing. Dequa outside of the cage this time.
You get Robbie Mertz in between these lines. He can cause all sorts of problems for opposing back line. The vision, the technique, quick around the corner, slow in rotation as Sharpie gets drawn out once again, but give credit to Zembla. Comes off his line extremely quick and closes down the angle. Robert Deco, you need to go far post with this or head it back across that 6-yard block where there's a lot of traffic. Such a tight angle to squeak it into that near post. Start to find a success for the Riverhound side, especially on top of the 18-yard box.
Most action Semla has seen this year. Only one team has taken 5 shots on target this season. And that was Memphis on June 10th.
Oh no. Straight to the dry cleaners now.
He didn't lose that much beer though. he did just go get a refill, and how often do you see somebody get crushed by that? You lose the entire thing. He just lost a little bit.
Always a positive. Love it, Michael.
Perez dances through defenders. Perez continues. Reminder, the closest to it, and another corner coming. What is this attacking we're seeing from these two sides in the opening 10 minutes?
And he's been active. Manny Perez picking and choosing his times when to join the attack as he gets around the corner. He knows he needs to whip it into a dangerous area, but give credit to the Riverhounds back line as they recover quickly to deal with a very dangerous set piece now for the home side.
A Wi-Fi corner coming. Lou City looking to strike. 3 straight clean sheets for the home side. Can they find a goal? Outward pacing ball this time. Mushagalusa. 2 defenders on him, he nutmegs. Lou City wanting a handball, there's no whistle again. The second time that Craig Topka has had a decision to make. Another long throw coming. Dia heaves. Second chance here. Mogul is called for the foul, and he gets shown a yellow card as well. And the fans will not be delighted by that.
Second ball is extremely important in this game. Mogul gets there first. It's Etsu that comes across very rash. Etsu's on the ground. But it's that long touch from Carlos Mogul that gets him in trouble. At first glance, it looked like Mogul got there right before Etsu, and he comes in swinging for the fences. Those are so important for both players because you have to be decisive. You're defensively, you know you're about 20 yards away from your goal. No need to go in so rash. If you're Junior Etsu there, Carlos Mogul, we'll talk about the technical ability that he possesses. And second ball is big of a cleaner touch. You don't get in this tricky situation. Let's see who the yellow goes to. My first glance looked like almost got on the ball. Recovered his first touch. And back the other way. Mushagalusa just so well, sets his defenders up so nicely. As this ball comes across, look at the extension of Osumanu's. It's a handball through and through. Makes himself bigger. Inability to let this ball come across. Once again, Lou City getting hard done by. Comes across. It's the trailing arm of the center back for the Riverhounds. They get away with one as it is Mogul Jr. who sees yellow.
World of Beer yellow card to Mogul. I get it. In a matchup like this, as an official, you don't want to have that ultimate decision to make. But that is twice if you're Lou City where you feel like you could have gotten a whistle and a penalty kick. But instead, we hit the 1 hour mark, still scoreless. Between Lou City and Pittsburgh, Michael Watrang, Ricky Lopez, Espen, our entire crew, ready to watch the stretch run of the final 30 minutes with you.
See, there's no luxury of VAR here in USL Championship, but as he comes across, you see the change of direction in the ball. It hits his right trailing arm. 100% should be a point to the spot. As you see Brian Omby and Gibson come in, how quickly can they get on the ball? How quickly can they get in rhythm for Danny Cruz? That's going to be the question to be asked, because we see him. He's a game changer for this Blue City side. You get him on the ball, you get him confident. Really important last 30 minutes for this home side.
Omby had the assists on the game winner from Mushagalusa on June 24th against Las Vegas as a sub. The team relies heavier on the bench than Lou City. The fewest minutes played on average by starters this year is with Louisville, but they have a deep bench. They have talent. Omby coming back from a muscle strain. Into the box goes Etsu. Semla makes his 5th save of the night. like the defense between these two sides. We have seen some good goal-scoring chances, especially here in the second half. Is that breakthrough with us here in the next few moments? Ownby making the run. Flag stays down. Ordonez kept him on. Ownby's pass deflected. Zamudio comes out. We mentioned in the first half, you look at this front line now for Lou City of Ownby. Great goal scorer, great distributor. Lancaster, one of the best that's ever done it. And Musha Galusa, who is a good resume. Offside. Now the question is, does Lou City strike? Can Pittsburgh find Dikwa enough to give him chances? Or is it somebody outside of the expected candidates?
It's going to be interesting, especially on that front line for Lou City. Just a different look going forward. Ownby gives you that ability to stretch and get in behind this back line of the Riverhounds. And as they do that, what is Winder, Mogul Jr., and Gibson, what does their secondary action look like? Because they need to push higher and close that gap between that front line and midfield line. Musha Galusa as well. So you have two wingers, both sides of Cameron Lancaster, the ability to get in behind. So again, a lot of communication for the Riverhounds back line.
Two changes for Pittsburgh. Canardo Forbes and Mike DeShields are coming in, and they will replace Pat Hogan and Langston Blackstock. Canardo Forbes, one of the best. He's got an assist in 5 of his last 9 matches. And now both sides have brought on some senior statesmen that can set a table as well as anybody in this league. Winder. Get past Ordonez. Louisville City FC will put the world's game on display for the second time at Lynn Family Stadium this summer as they welcome Mexico's Atlante FC to town. Saturday, July 15th. Tickets are in demand and on sale now with more information at loucity.com. There's a foul whistled.
Bringing changes to this back line for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That changes things as well. For Jonas, he's going to play centrally. DeShields going to play on the left-hand side. Osumano's going to shift to the right-hand side of that back three. And then you have King Kenny Canardo Forbes, who talked about his ability to pick a pass. How quickly can he get on the ball and dictate things for Bob Lilly?
Most of the action has come in the attacking thirds for both of these teams in the second half. Set pieces have been plentiful. Mogul and Gibson are around it. Will be Mogul to ping it in. Zamudio controls. Purple jersey's in there quickly enough.
Michael's a very good ball in for Mogul. That near post, you need someone crashing and slashing across of it. It does two things. One, if you get on the end of it, it's an easy tap in. You don't need to hit it hard. It's too close in proximity for a goalkeeper to react. But secondary, if you don't get on the end of it, it pulls out a center back. That's soccer 101. Near post, far post, center of the box. That's something that was lacking there in that instance for the home side.
Starting to get back into this game, sensing that opportunities are starting to fly open. Ownby on the left channel this time. Get there. Gibson. What a great turn by Musha Galusa. Goes down too easily for Greg Dopka's liking.
Great ball.
Mertz turns. Some resistance. Nobody over there until Etsu gets to it outside of the box. Right back in. Deekwa! Ripples the rope. Riverhounds take a 1-0 lead on the road.
We talk about how important he's been since coming back into the lineup. 9 goals on the year, make that number 10 for Albert Deekwa, but it's all about the movement in and around this 18-yard box. As this ball recycles, he understands if I get lost in the box, if I beat my individual defender, the little change of pace right here between Sharpie, Mogul Jr., slow in rotation, but give credit to Junior Utsu. Picks up his head, information on the pass, picture perfect between the lines. Albert Deekwa gets around the corner, doesn't need to hit it too hard, just needs to get it on target. The Riverhounds, they get their goal on the road. 1-0, 69th minute.
Deekwa into double figures in goal scoring. His 10th of the season. And the scoreless drought by Lou City opponents is over at 382 minutes. And there will not be a 4th consecutive clean sheet for the first time in 5 years. Deekwa now ties Manuel Arteaga for the Golden Boot lead. And it was Arteaga that scored last against Lou City. That was on June 17th.
I talked about it, Michael. The ability to create your own space inside that 18-yard box as a striker is just so important to have that feel when to crash near post, when to peel out, go far post. Albert Deekwa understands. Junior Etsu picks up his head. If I just create a bit of separation, I can get on the ball. And what a quality finish that is. Closes up his hips at the last second, right between Zemla's legs.
This ball goes into the box. Mogul was making the run.
Now, if you're Danny Cruz, you're looking for a reaction from your boys the next 5 minutes to get on the ball a bit more.
Ownby just outstretched his leg and couldn't get there in time. There is a foul given for Albert Deekwa. At times, quiet tonight. Haven't really called his name, but he gets his first goal since May 13th. Granted, had a bit of an injury on 2 occasions around the U.S. Open Cup that caused him to miss some time. But he comes up with a clutch goal, and yet again, Pittsburgh on the road in Lou City. There's something about this place for this group, having won 4 of the first 19 meetings between these clubs, and all 4 have come here in Louisville.
It's one of those strikers that, yes, he wants to get on the ball because he's so good at just holding up play, bringing players in, and just being that focal point, but he also understands he's getting paid to score goals. He needs to stay high and around that 18-yard box and always be a threat once the ball gets into that final third. The recognition just to peel off the shoulder of Sean Toshan. Sharpie there. That's a striker's goal. What a massive one that is on the road.
Zamudio gets his issues taken care of. Let's look back at that goal.
But give credit to Etsu, because as he gets this ball, he picks up his head and understands this back line for Lou City. They're retreating towards the goal line. So there's going to be real estate right on top of that 6-yard box, right through the legs of Manny Perez. And Albert Deekwa does the rest. We talk about players playing together, being on the same wavelength. Etsu and Deekwa have been all over the pitch in that final third.
Teams will make some changes. Burke Bailing is replacing Junior Etu for Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, Lou City is bringing on Dylan Maris and Martin Powells, replacing Musha Galusa and Mogul. Both coaches admitted with their changes that they might make throughout the match, it will all be based on game situation. Cruz trying to get some fresh feet out there. Winder can't control it. Failing sends it back. Pittsburgh with this 1-0 lead. Battle of two of the top teams in the USL Championship for the time being. It's Pittsburgh taking over the top spot, ending that shutout streak for Lou City that officially goes to 383 minutes. Albert Dequa tied for the Golden Boot race lead as we hit the 75th minute. Lou City overcome this. Fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/Lou City. Michael Watrang, Ricky Lopez-Espin, our entire crew. Walked into this one with you on a Wednesday evening. Great to have you on board. Does Lou City have an equalizer? Or does Pittsburgh win for the 4th time? And the 2nd time on this date, on the 3-year anniversary of the opening of this facility. Ball goes out of play as Ownby tried to find Elijah Winder. This has to be one of those nights for Danny Cruz that feels like deja vu. So many times we've had chances in front of net, haven't been able to score. Just haven't been able to find that consistent goal scoring after being one of the top goal scoring teams in the entire league last year. They really didn't have a whole lot of personnel changes.
Just think their inability to deal with the pressure as well. Too many times when this Riverhounds just showed the ability to step up and close the space down, they didn't really have an answer to find the gaps between lines. Too many times it was that front line just staying high. Watch out here.
Robbie Mertz yet again in space. Mertz. Forbes contemplating, and it doesn't lead to a shot. Lou City holds strong. Now can they counter? Leg up for offside. Lou City will make another change. Rasmus Tellefsen replaces Elijah Winder on the pitch. About a quarter hour to go.
And back to our point, Michael, just a player that can drop in their central location, get the ball in a half turn and really connect that back to front. Yes, you talk about you want your front line to stay high and occupied, but also give the support system and just different angles to drop down to break through this pressure, because the Riverhounds are pressing with 5 players. So if you can break them, there's going to be real estate for a player just like this to drop down in, have the combination play, but we haven't seen it enough for Lou City, and that's why it's been all one-way traffic, mostly in the second half for the Riverhounds.
Maris flies it to the back post. Ownby the closest to it. Couldn't quite win the ball, however. And now a foul whistled on Dikwa. Just when it looked like the Riverhounds had a counter. Bob Lilly unhappy and taking it out on that gum.
Handful of the jersey here from Albert Dikwa on Sharpie. Clear as day right in front of our referee. Always innocent, the player is, huh?
Maris, back post, headed back down, and it's saved by Zamudio. Sharpie trying to flick it on. Lancaster can't hold on to it, and another foul given, and another dangerous spot.
Nervy moments in the back for the Riverhounds. Set pieces, we talked about them being a brilliant way to claw yourself back into this game, but last-ditch defending effort there from Danny Griffin. Zamudio gets caught flat-footed on the back end of it. Terrific effort. Get himself on the end line and deny a goal-scoring opportunity for Lou City.
A fifth, third free kick coming. Does Cameron Lancaster have another late strike in him after the game winner last week against Loudoun? Going to be a lot of congestion. Zamudio measures. Fans just waiting to explode here. Cameron Lancaster nearly tucked it into the upper corner, just slightly over.
It's such a difficult technique to get this up and over the wall underneath the crossbar, but he hits it so well. Just not enough bend on it, not enough dip on it, always rising. Definitely has it in his locker. Cameron Lancaster, you see the disbelief and the frustration. He should be testing Zamudio there. It's a really good effort.
Pittsburgh is going to make a couple changes, and Albert Dikwa is going to be among those as he comes off the field, but he was a game changer as he's been all season.
Just a fox in the box, the ability to lose his individual marker, comes around the corner, it's slow rotation between Tosh, Sharpie, and Mogul Jr., and he gets his 10th on the year. What a terrific shift it was, 81 minutes for that man, Albert Dikwa.
Edward Kizza and Trevor Sletsloot are the two men that are in. The Riverhounds, Bob Lilly saying that there's so much depth at midfield. He has so much talent. It's a good problem to have. But trying to find that consistent group that he can rely upon. In a game like this, he has utilized that bench. We have about 10 more minutes to go. Kizza is fouled. Louisville 2023 ticket packages are available now. Lou City's next home match is on July 22nd at 8 p.m. Bring your family and friends to Lynn Family Stadium and the boys in purple face Birmingham Legion. Tickets are available at loucity.com/tickets. Kizza making the run. Forbes waiting. Decides to spin out and wait. And then pick out Osamanu. Sends it in. Not too much on that. Ownby will be the first to it. Well, at halftime, I asked you who the points are more valuable for, and you said Lou City being at home. And now you feel like Danny Cruz's group need to give everything they have to try to pull level in this one for a team that has really struggled to score second fewest goals in the USL this year.
It's going to be very interesting this last 8+ minutes here for Lou City. Down at home, never a good sign, but what's the character look like? What's the fight for Danny Cruz? We talked about his frustration last time out against Loudoun United, especially how they came out of the break. Not good enough, the intensity wasn't high enough for his liking. You could say the same here. But again, you have the quality, you have the talent on the field, but how do you execute it? And that's going to be the question to be answered the remaining of this game. Again, your decision, how do you manage moments, especially in that final third, are going to be very important because it's too early to press the panic button. Just keeping the composure, the possession between the side. You get this man and Brian Omby on the ball a bit more in between lines. That's going to give you the best success to claw yourself back into this game. But again, it's just a bit sloppy in terms of possession.
Well, one of the big reasons why that is, and we talked about it earlier, just the health of this group has been up and down this season. And Danny Cruz admitted sometimes it's not just about the consistency of the play on the field, but it's the consistency in the relationships that you have during training to try to ensure that that can translate to the game. There's a lot of times this year where players have been missing in action, and because of that, you haven't been able to develop that chemistry and relationship.
On the flip side of it, it's always a next man up mentality. You go into the offseason, you do your homework, so when players do go down with injury.
Here's the ball in the box, Perez. Just hit it well too hard. Had options, not just in terms of the shot, but as well as passing.
Probably been the most active player in that final third for Lou City. The ability to get in behind. You just need to knock this across to give your side a better angle.
Dequa getting a deserved rest. And what a last couple years it has been for him. Scored 12 goals in the first 90 appearances of his career. But he now has 21 in his last 50 since the beginning of 2022. Ownby tried to work around, and Riverhounds beside themselves with the call. Ownby, very experienced, draws the foul. Was this far enough out to try to pass it? Here's the foul again.
Makes the most of it, Brian Ownby. Trademark, the chop back. Touches the bar, a lot of contact with the experience of Brian Ownby, very clever.
Maris, Powell's the closest to it. At 6'7", you got to get that pass higher. Perez, Tellefson. Sharpie was getting ready to take it. Forbes, though, defensively. First man to it. There's a bending cross all the way back to Ownby. Was it touched? It was not. The fans arguing that it should have been a corner.
Look, if Zamudio gets on the end of it, he does touch it. But the question is it already out of bounds before he touches it? That's what I think Greg Dokpa is signaling, but contact is certainly made between Zamudio and the ball.
Forbes, swat and swim. Like a defensive end in American football there instead. That's not legal in the game of football.
I like that. Never heard that. Swat and swim.
Yellow card was shown to the Pittsburgh bench. Bob Lilly has his fair share to say to the officiating group. He said that the team's been good on the road, not great, but also said that 0-0 will keep you in a lot of games, but you have to start to score. And after back-to-back 0-0 matches, His team has answered the calling to get that goal. For a team that has been a stalwart defensively. One behind Lou City for clean sheets for the league lead with 8. Minutes away from trying to answer that here this evening and run the unbeaten string to 12 in a row. Zone B. Maris. Donez is there. This back line can do no wrong. Dia. In the box, this one goes. Powell's. Took a high bounce. Now cleared away. If you're down by a goal against any team in the league, the last team you want to be down by a goal is Pittsburgh. They're so comfortable in defense.
Look at your screen right now. 11 players in their defensive half. So compact. They drop in unison, they step in unison, especially that back line. And that's something that you come to expect from Bob Lilly's side, how disciplined they are defensively, but the rotations as well. So many times when an outside back, whether it's Rivera, whether it was Blackstock, they step off their line. The back three provide that coverage, and they just shift over. It's so good. It's so hard to break down. There's a reason why they've only allowed 12 goals on the year.
There's a high archer again, trying to use that 6'7". Powell's. Dia. Powell's can't slow it down. Maris skies it out of every part of the park.
Such a difficult technique as this ball is coming over your left shoulder to keep your head down, to get your hips facing the goal. Good ball in from Dia. Almost lets it go run over, but again, Maris, player that you bring in on the offseason to provide goals and assists. Lacking in that department, certainly 2 goals, 1 assist on the year. You expect him to be hitting the target about 25 yards out.
Pittsburgh have given up just 1 goal in the last 8 matches. Looking for a 7th clean sheet in the last 8. New City looking for a late game stunner. Dia. Tried to win a corner out of it, couldn't do so. Stoppage time is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Refs have added 6 minutes of added time. Zamudio. He will lay on top of this ball. 25-year-old from Las Vegas. Was the every match starter with Loudon last season. Had 7 clean sheets, but gave up nearly 2 goals per match. Kizza. Fouls Tosh. Zamudio eyeing a 4th clean sheet since joining the club. Ibarra. Pittsburgh will be glad to take that. Well, when you look at the numbers of this match, when all is said and done, the result, you will have thought that Pittsburgh has been absolutely dominant. 6 of 9 shots have been on target. They have the game's lone goal, and they've only given up 6 shots. Only 1 has been on frame from Louisville. He was trying to get that spin cycle. Instead, Griffin will head to the corner flag. This has exactly been what Pittsburgh has done so frequently of late. The only time they've lost in the last 3 months was to FC Cincinnati on June 6th in the Open Cup. Zamudio with a header. Dangerous decision. Powell's of the Netherlands. 4 more minutes to go. Osamanu wins it. Foul, or take that an injured player rather. That is Osamanu who won that ball at the slide.
Touch here from Brian Obi, just trying to get around the corner. Osamanu awkwardly slides in. Again, it's the dark arts of the game at the moment for the Riverhounds. Up 1-0 at 94th minute. You bleed this clock down. You take a little bit longer to get on your feet. A little bit longer to throw the ball in. Restarts. I think that he's very happy at the moment, Danny Cruz. The inability just to get on the ball and really dictate tempo in terms of your possession. Just lacking that final quality in that final third, whether it was intended target, a bit of combination play, something just producing individual piece of magic. All the above has been lacking for the home side in this match here so far.
Look back through the match, Lancaster had a couple chances in the opening 30 minutes. Had that chance off of a free kick in which Danny Griffin was able to be the last-ditch effort on a Sharpie redirect. I feel like we have maybe another 5 more minutes to go. As Lou City tries to even this one up. Powell's called for the foul. Kizza will take some time as well.
Talk about managing moments, especially there's no need for Powell just to go in and lower his shoulder. On the ball, get the better body position, because you know, much like Osamanu back the other way, Kizza is going to take a very long time to get back to his feet and bleed the clock down. Because the visitors' best friends at the moment. Been frustrating, to say the least, for Lou City.
We've hit 5 minutes of the minimum 6 of stoppage time. We've not had a goal scored in second half stoppage time since last October against Hartford. That was in the 90+4. Cameron Lancaster had that. Granted, in the conference finals, Elijah Winder scored in the 108th minute. There's a long ball that Pals will win. Own B hits the crossbar and nearly the equalizer that Lou City wants.
Bring Pals on the game, he just gives you a focal point, the aerial presence, but what's the secondary actions look like, whether it's underneath, whether it's spinning in behind. Naomi gets on the end of it, just so unfortunate, kisses off the wrong side of the crossbar. And looking around for Lou City saying, what on earth do we need to do to find the back of the net? It was so unlucky.
Here's a corner. Dia recycled back in. Zamudio catches. At the end of it all, you could see Pittsburgh was putting everybody back after all the stoppages and starts. Will there be enough time left for more to happen? Zamudio wastes as much time as he can. All eyes on Greg Dopka now. since 2017. The latest goal scored by Lou City was in the 90+6 back in 2020. Jason Johnson did so. That's as far back as we can go with our records. It'll be one heck of a moment here, and they will not get that moment. Pittsburgh makes it 12 in a row unbeaten, and in a place that has been kind to them. They win for the 5th time. All of their wins against Lou City have come on this field. And Ricky, these two sides, you knew defensively chances would be at a premium, but Pittsburgh at the end of it all made more of their opportunities and got the majority.
Just look at that stat. Have not lost since April 22nd. Unbeaten extends to 12 for this Riverhounds side. But hats off to Bob Lilly. You talk about a game plan, a tactical game that was going to be in front of your face. So it wasn't going to be pretty. Who's going to be more disciplined and who's going to be more clinical in critical moments on both boxes in around your defensive 18 and around your attacking 18. And the question was the visitors, so give credit to Albertico. He comes back into the starting 11. You talk about frustration from Denny Cruz, talking about barking to the officials after, but give credit so much to Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Massive 3 points on the road.
Tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the match is Oliver Semla. He had to make a season-high 5 saves this evening, and he is our man of the match, despite giving up a goal for the first time in 383 minutes. So the Riverhounds will go at least 85 days without a loss with another victory here tonight. Pittsburgh 1, Lou City 0. We'll tie the bow on tonight's action on a Wednesday in Louisville. 1-0 Lou City falls to Pittsburgh.
It's game time, baby. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready. It's game time. It's game time. It's game time. 'Cause it's game time. It's game time.
Back here at Lynn Family Stadium, where Pittsburgh runs its unbeaten stretch to 12 in a row. Michael Watring, Ricky Lopez Espin tying a bow on the evening. This postgame presented to you by Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. And we take a look at the full-time highlights on a Wednesday, Ricky. In the 23rd minute, it was this Langston Blackstock missile that really set the tone for the night. There were a lot of shots for Pittsburgh on target.
Just a trailing run from the outside back as he continues on top of the 18-yard box. It falls kindly to him. Makes no mistake about the contact, that's for sure, but straight at Zemla, and he was massive between the sticks for the home side.
In the 38th minute, this seemed like this was going to be the moment of the match for Pittsburgh. They had 2 incredible chances.
Just a pure will to get on the end of it from Junior Etsu. Starts in his own half, he beats his individual mark, but talk about massive saves. Not once, but twice. It's this long touch one. Zemla comes off his line, but the reaction from the goalkeeper to get up, to stand up big and put it up for a corner kick on the secondary one, top class.
Yet again, accuracy in shooting. However, for Pittsburgh, slightly off target from Robbie Mertz.
That front three starts to get going and start to pick up spaces in between lines. As his ball comes in, Albert Deco just spins Sharpie like a top, and it's a secondary action. Robbie Mertz, top of the box, closes up his hips, finds that far post, but then he knew it was a matter of if not when for this Albert Deco. Gets away from his individual mark as he picks up his head right between the legs of Manny Perez, and what a terrific goal that is for the number 9 to get his 10th on the year.
After injuries, he scores for the first time since May 13th. Here was the best chance really for Louisville of the night. Sharpie right in front. Somehow Danny Griffin had the right read.
Yeah, Zamudi just gets caught flat-footed. That's terrific effort to get on the end of it, play a sweeper keeper, saves all 3 points here for Danny Griffin. And then last but not the least effort here for Lou City. We bring in Palace, you know he's a focal point. I know he'll be up and over, just kisses off the wrong side of the crossbar. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, all 3 points back home.
And it leads for a frustrating night for Lou City. 11 shots, but just 1 on target. We knew that this would be a great matchup between 2 of the best in the East. We could very well see this in the playoffs. How do you sum up what we saw here tonight?
It's just about moments. Who's going to be more clinical and critical moments on the attacking phase, on the defensive side? And that's something that Danny Cruz is going to want to go and watch back. Just the decision making is not the best in that final third. It's in terms of when to arrive on the box, how to arrive in that box. But for Bob Lilly, he talked about defense first, so disciplined in their structure. And when they got an opportunity, they did not make it count.
Those are your final stats brought to you by Pave Masters. And on an evening in which both sides entered with long shutout strings intact, it's Pittsburgh getting the winner. Albert Deke was 10th of the year. Ends Lou City's 383-minute shutout string. And our final score tonight, presented to you by Gorski Law Office, is the Riverhounds 1, Lou City 0. For my partner Ricky Lopez-Espin and our entire crew, I'm Michael Watring saying so long. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.